Hello, hello. Welcome to our Metabolic Mastery. I'm Dr.Elisee. So good for you to be here that we get a chance to take this time and learn well, particularly something that is a bother to many people. So let's get right on in it. I hope you grabbed your pen, your pencil to take some notes. And I hope as well, too, that you leave today with some nuggets and some tools that you could put into practice even tonight. So I'm ready to teach. I hope you're ready to learn. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Welcome to Metabolic Mastery webinar, where we get a chance to unlock your metabolism together. So let's go ahead on into our next slide here. All right, so here's the biggest thing. The question is, there is a struggle with weight, that many people struggle with weight. And a lot of times the struggle that people have with weight is because it's a multifactorial problem. Multifactorial problem. That's right. That means it's not just one thing, it's many things. It has to do with environment, it has to do with society, it has to do with genetics, psychological, dietary. A lot of times we learn the wrong things. We never learn the right things. So that's why when we specifically are talking about weight, because that's one of our key things that we see that just tie up the metabolism, we have to make sure, or actually, let me say it this way. When we speak about weight, that's usually one of the indicated signs, the signs that we see that there's something that really has to be going on with the metabolism as well too. So it's that outward appearance that we see, that it's the weight. So when we approach this struggle with weight, this problem that many people have, because it's multifactorial, we have to hit it from here, from here, from here, from here. We have to uppercut it and make sure that we have a chance to really dig deep. Our bodies are complex. We were made into complex being. That's how God created us. So it usually is not just one size fits all ever when we talk about the struggle of weight. And it is a multifactorial problem. So in these next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to do my best to share with you a little bit about patients that I've been helping, to share with you what I've seen their struggle is to unlock this metabolic masteries. We're going to be able to unlock that. And then we're really being able to dive in deep. But I have to tell you honestly, it's just 20 minutes. So even at the end of this, we're going to get a chance for you to be part of our Metabolic Master Plan. It's an 8-week program, and we intentionally only have 10 spots a month. And that's because we want to make sure we are highly focused. I'm only one person. I could only take on so many people. And we want to make sure that you're actually in the care of this physician. And the great thing that today is that in the next 24 hours, we're going to have the saving promotional that's going to be available to you for the next 24 hours. Okay, I'm ready to teach. You ready to learn? Let's dig in deep. So what is the problem when we speak about metabolic mastery? Here's the biggest thing. I want to talk to you about Annabelle's story. Annabelle is a patient that came to us, and that was part of our metabolic master plan. And her biggest struggle was weight. And like I said, it's multifactorial. It was so interesting to me because when she came in, we noticed that the problem was her gut. I know you've heard before the connection between your gut and your mind, or how your gut health is so important. That's not just an idea, it's a real thing. Here comes a pearl. What was holding her up? What was the biggest problem with her really getting a hold of her metabolism, getting her metabolic mastery in place? Is because she had a long chronic constipation. All right, here's the pearl. How many bowel movements should someone have? What's the healthy way of a bowel movement? Your bowel movement should be at least 3 times a week, 3 times a week, or there's some people who go quite regular. They go 3 times a day. I know it sounds like a lot, but here's the biggest thing. It's a cadence. It should be that rhythm. So if you're going every 2 days, if you're going every 1 day, if you're going every 3 days. The problem with Annabelle is that she was only having bowel movements once a month when she was on her cycle. I couldn't believe it. Here's the worst thing about it. She actually went to go see a GI specialist and was told that's normal. Well, that was the one thing that was a big problem. Her GI, metabolic, it was a metabolic problem that we were able to dig deep in. So what did she feel? She felt like she was dragging. She felt tired all the time. When she went to the doctor's office and when she went to see the specialist, she did all of her due diligence, but they dismissed her concerns. And I just want to add right here that a lot of times, many people go to the doctor's office, their concerns get dismissed. While that is common, that is never normal. I'm going to say that again. While that is common, it is not normal. If you don't get anything from today, please remember the most important thing that you can do is advocate for you. So we have to know the difference between common and normal. Well, as we went on with Annabelle's story, because we found out the problem was really the metabolic problem, we were able to stabilize her metabolism. We were able to unlock it. She was getting on regular bowel movements. And as soon as we unlocked that, her weight began to go down. Her energy went up. She had all of the energy that she needed. And I don't know how long you've been struggling with maybe feeling tired, feeling dragged, or just this weight problem, especially that stubborn weight that's right there in the middle of the belly. I want to let you know Annabelle's story can be your story, or even better. There is a way out. Again, this is very common, but it's not normal. It's very common that people just kind of say, well, woe is me. It is what it is. But that is not normal. There is a better way. And hopefully by today, you'll be able to see that. So that was Annabelle's story, that struggle with weight. It's a metabolic factor that's in there as well, too. What are some of the other things that we see and tend to be the biggest problems? We're going to talk about 5 of them, 4 or 5 about them again today. That is a big problem when we start speaking about a lot of people's struggle that they have with weight, a lot of struggle that they have with their metabolism. The number one thing is the loss of the number 2 most important asset. That's right, the number 2, we're going to talk about one, a waste of time with ineffective solutions. Just like Annabelle, she was doing all the right things. She went and she sought out a specialist, and he was giving her wrong information. Has that ever happened to you? Where you go see a specialist and it's wrong information? Then she went to try to start figuring out herself. Maybe that was you as well. Maybe that's you right now. You're wasting time trying to figure out, how can I figure out this metabolism? How can I make sure my gut is healthy? How can I lose this weight? You're going to blogs, you're going to Instagram, you're going to social medias, you're going to Dr. Google, people who have all these aesthetics, and sometimes the information is right, but sometimes the information is wrong. But more importantly and more frustrating, the information sometimes can be contradictory. And here's the biggest problem. The information is not personalized to you. And that's one of the biggest things where we see this waste of time that people have, many people have, maybe you today, this waste of time of you trying to figure this out by yourself, but you don't have to do that anymore. Another problem and another struggle that people have when it comes to their weight is that there is no energy. There's declining vitality. Now, this is key because a lot of times, right, we know, here are the pearls. I want you to grab these pearls as I'm dropping them. A lot of times we know your vitamin D level is important. Your B12 is important as well to have energy. But if you're noticing you're on a decline, if you're constantly yawning like this woman here, it's not just because you're getting older. Despite what you believe, getting older is not a disease, despite what you believe. And yes, your hormones are changing, but it's not just that. The question is, sometimes you could be eating too much or you could be eating too little. This is where that balance is. That no energy, that declining vitality is also a mental fatigue that a lot of times we feel, because we see the difference when we're going to get dressed every morning. And I don't know, but this is what I've heard from patients, and this is what I've known over the past decade that a lot of people are saying to me, that frustration that they have, even when it comes to getting up in the morning, still being tired, not having restful sleep at night. And then the hardest part is that they're still trying. They're giving themselves too much to do. They're not realistic. Does any of that sound familiar to you? Are you being realistic with how much you can do? They're overcharging their schedule and they have no energy. And that's, again, one of these biggest problems that we see when we do not get to the point where we are masters of our metabolic health. We need to be masters of our individual metabolic health so we can have the energy and we can get away from this declining vitality. And here's the one thing. It's actually, I'm going to go a little nerdy here with you. It's actually the second law of thermodynamics. Things get worse. They go from order to disorder. What does that mean? You don't have to try to have a messy kitchen. If you're like me and you have some boys or some kids in the house, just as they're there, it's just going to get messy. So that's why we say it's declining energy, declining vitality until you do something different. And here's the good news, you're doing something different right now because you're here taking the time to invest in your health in this first step right now in getting a part of this Metabolic Mastery webinar that's here for you. All right, so we've spoken about the waste of time. We've spoken about the no energy, the declining energy. We mentioned that it's not just hormones, but what else goes on with this? Negative social stigmas and isolation. Now, I think by far this is the worst one that I've seen it, and it's unfortunately the reality that we hate to face, that the human heart isn't always kind and it's always not always bent on goodness, but there's a lot of judgmental individuals in this world, and they're part of our workforces. They're part of the individuals making the decisions as it has to do with not just governmental affairs, but just with grants or job opportunities or positioning. There's a lot of social stigma that occurs with individuals who are overweight or who struggle with their metabolic health. What are some of those stigmas? They're told that they're lazy. You're told that you're not trying hard enough. You're told that you don't have any willpower. But we know that's just not the case. It oversimplifies truly what's going on. And this is the reality where you have to have the science here to really understand this. And this is especially true if you're one of the individuals, like many, who've struggled with weight, who've struggled with your metabolic health for your entire life. It's so much more. And believe me, it's not because you're lazy. It's not because you have no willpower. It's because you have not yet unlocked that one thing. You haven't pushed that one domino yet that you didn't even know was there to get everything in place. So one of the other things that is the worst things that people tend to fear the most is a career derailing because of a health crisis. This is a huge, huge part of our lives. This is a huge part of what is a huge concern for many people when it has to do with their metabolic health, because they don't really know what's going on inside their body or what's going on in their health altogether. We know that in terms of the health crisis that could occur when your metabolic health is in place, when you're overweight, that there is higher rates of heart disease, high blood pressure, fatty liver, even some cancers. And it really is just decreasing your earning potential every single day. There's a lot of thoughts in the back of many people's minds because they see this changing in their health. Because they see this changing in their health, they understand and know when they keep on missing days of work, or if their health gets really bad, or if they're just trying to manage it themselves and they really don't know what's going on, it's in this fear in the back of their mind that there will be a health crisis that will derail their career. And that truly is our number one loss in our number one asset. Our number one asset, your number one asset is you. You must take care of you. And you cannot leave that to bloggers, to social media posts, or just various internet searches. You really need to make sure that you're in a place where you have peace of mind because you know exactly what is going on in your body and what's going on in your health. So that's our career derailing because of a health crisis, a huge fear that many people have, that many people carry when it comes to their health. One of the other things that tend to happen when we look at metabolic mastery or unlocking our metabolic health and making sure it's good, it's this self-sabotaging behavior. So here's the thing, and I want to tell you a story. I wear glasses, and this is one thing that I've noticed that really helps patients understand this. And it goes back to this thought of I could just do it myself. Well, this is the reality of the genetics, the epigenetics, the science, the reality that you're in a human body and our human bodies are flawed. It's not always perfect. There's something more that we always need. And this is my thought for glasses. If you are someone who wears glasses, it doesn't matter how hard you try, how hard you focus, how many times you think positive, how many affirmations you have. You need to put on glasses in order to see. And I always say it's a self sabotaging cycle because if you're not realizing the need to put on glasses, you are just hurting yourself and you're becoming more frustrated with yourself. Well, the same holds true when we speak about our metabolic health, when we speak about weight loss, because it's multifactorial, because there's so many pieces involved, because there could be genetic factors involved with that stubborn weight that you haven't been able to lose, or that discomfort that you feel in your gut, or that abnormality with your bowel movements and having constipation. This is the reason why you need the science. You need something more. So just as someone has poor vision, needs glasses, you can need glasses. Another story real quick I want to share with you. I'm currently training for the Spartan. Now, one Spartan run. If you don't know what that is, go look it up. It's crazy, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm excited about it. But I run with my brother, and as we're getting ready to run, we do these beach runs. Now, I used to run track in high school, but when I ran track in high school, I had what's called exercise-induced asthma, where I had to use an inhaler and rescue inhaler. So here I am, how many years later, training with my brother, and he said something to me this weekend. And again, in my mind, I'm victim of it too. I'm telling you, in my mind, I have been on these runs and I've found it hard to breathe. My body feels great, my legs feel great, but sometimes I find it very hard to breathe. And the other day, just Saturday when I was running with him, this is what he said to me as I was running next to him. He was like, "Did you order that inhaler yet?" And I was like, "No, not yet. I'm just going to try to condition my lungs." And then he said, "It's crazy how dysregulated your breathing comes within a matter of moments." That was the cue to me that, okay, quit playing. This is a genetic, this is epigenetic, this is something more, this is something that I need. So it's going to be more simple when I just get this inhaler and I stop the self-sabotaging cycle. Are you on a self-sabotaging cycle today? Is there something where you know you need to link up with the physician, where you know that there's something more? There's been a struggle that you've had your entire life, but you're still trying to will your way to it, positive thinking through it, doing 24 hard or all these other different programs with then being frustrated. That self-sabotaging cycle is the one thing that continues to make you feel like you're not winning. And I hope today we could break that cycle and you could understand it is so much more than what meets the eye. And hopefully you'll be able to take part of what we're going to do today. So that's the self-sabotaging cycle. So those were our biggest 5 things that we spoke about. And I wish I could teach you more, but I want to be respectful of how much time we have together because I cannot believe how quickly this time goes. So I want to talk to you about the Metabolic Master Plan. Now, we've already discussed some of these high yield things and these high yields that have made the difference. But there's so much more to learn. So I hope you grab some of those tips that we spoke about earlier. But there are some people here who need something more, who want something more, who are looking for something more. And that's why I want to tell you about our Metabolic Master Plan and the more to learn. Here's the one thing about it. This is an 8-week intensive program that we do where we take 10 people every single month. Now, I have to tell you honestly, since we started this promotion and this webinar, we already had 3 people sign up. So we only have 7 spots left for this month. So that means that if you join today, you could always be part of us and start the cohort just next this upcoming Monday so that you could start getting and unlocking your metabolic health. So this is a webinar promotional that we have today for a savings of just today that you want to take advantage of because it will be a significant difference in prices. So let me tell you all about our Metabolic Master Plan. So first thing, we've sat here and we've spoken all this time, but I never got a chance to tell you who I am. I'm Dr. Elisee. I'm a board-certified family medicine physician, the CEO and founder of Cornerstone Medical Group. I've been practicing medicine over the past decade. I get called upon at conferences, local schools, churches, as well as radio hosts. and host until I could just speak about what I've seen and learned. And here's one thing that I've come to realize over the past decade. There's things that we learn in theory that is true, things that are books. But what really has made the difference, I think, that has been able to help me, to allow me to help so many people, the difference is this one thing. It's the experience. It's the clinical experience. It's the trenches. Because what happens in theory, what happens in the books isn't always what we see that goes on in the clinic and in the trenches. So we're able to put the two together. So that's a little bit about who I am. So now let's talk about this metabolic master plan. So this is one of our patients, Rudy, and this is Rudy's story. Now, I have not curated any of these testimonials that you'll see today. Literally, you could go online, not our webpage. You could literally go online, Google, and you'll see some of these. So this is what he said. He said, Dr. Elisee transformed my life by transforming my health. He mentioned how doors were open for him, that his blood pressure was now more controlled, and he was no longer getting socially shamed. This is what I thought was interesting. As he began to lose weight, he came in probably about week 5 and he said, Dr. Elisee, I cannot believe this. A girl held the door open for me. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, that has never happened before. And I know it's because I'm losing weight. He also came in with high blood pressure. So as we were going through this metabolic master plan and having this 8-week intensive with him, his blood pressure got more controlled. He was no longer having his headaches that he was having daily. And more than anything else, he was no longer being isolated. He began to see the difference even at work, where he worked, where people were speaking to him more, inviting him out more. Really, really bad. But unfortunately, it's this one silent thing that people don't even realize is occurring. And it wasn't until Rudy lost that weight, it wasn't until that he felt more confident, it wasn't until that he felt like he's accomplished something that he began to realize that, wait a minute, I am being treated differently. It's a horrible thing, but for many of you that are here today, it's something that you're well familiar with. So hopefully you too will make the investment in yourself so that we could transform your health, so that we could transform your life. So when we speak about the metabolic master plan, I think it's more importantly to tell you about what will occur in this program. So here we go, enhanced health. I love the thought about enhanced health. There's a saying that we say that enhanced health equals or yields increased wealth and better relationship. Why is that? Well, when your health is enhanced, you're not losing out on days of work. So you have more earning potential, thus increased wealth. And then because your health is improved as well too, you'll be able to be present with your friends, with your family. You'll be able to be present at social gatherings to really have engaging conversations. And that's why we say enhanced health yields increased wealth and better relationship. So that's one thing that will happen as part of the metabolic master plan. We redeem your time. Oh my gosh, that's so important. No more wasting time where you have to try to figure this out yourself, going through these different search engines, finding people who have the aesthetics on their page to make it look good or sound good, but don't really have the solution at the end of the day. Now, with the metabolic master plan, you're going to have a physician who's going to walk you through that will now tailor and customize a program just for you. Again, why we only limit it to 7 to 10 people every single month. The other thing is that we're going to intensify your energy, your vitality, and your clarity. Here's the thing. Once we enhance our health, you're going to have more energy. One of the things that I thought was really important in Annabelle's story that she was saying to me, and it really hit me, she noticed that as she was having more and regular bowel movements, she felt energized, more energized every single week. And that's the one key word that I've heard repetitively throughout all of our patients say, the increased energy that they feel, increased clarity. And again, that even goes back to saving and redeeming the time because you're going to get back to being able to think quick, be sharp, and have the energy to do so. Increased earning potential, and that's what we spoke about early with the increased health. We have boosts of confidence with this accomplishment, especially if you're one of the individuals who have been struggling with your weight for so long. Being able to now win this, to conquer this, that is such a great accomplishment. And there's something about when you have a goal in front of you and you accomplish it, it completely boosts your confidence. So this accomplishment will help boost your confidence, and you got to do it together. The next thing that we also too is that, again, going back to this fear, we fear the unknown. So we have to make the unknown known. There is an acquired control and calm that you're going to have within these 8 weeks, because now you're going to know exactly what's going on in your body. You're going to know exactly what's working and what is not working. And that's something each and every individual needs to be able to know and understand for themselves, and of course, our better relationships. So these are just some of the transformation, and we know so many more that people have once they're part of our metabolic master plan. Here's Beth's story. I love this testimonial. And the biggest things that she made mention of is that she felt the support. She knew she needed medical professional and realistic goals. And this is what she said: in the journey of weight loss, you want a partner, coach, support system, and a medical professional. Dr. Elisee is all of these and so much more, with realistic goals in mind. So this is where I have to stop, because I see it all the time. Friends, there's only 24 hours in the day. The things that you could do when you were single, or when you're on a college campus, or before you had the spouse and the children and other responsibilities, before you were the entrepreneur and CEO of your companies, there was but so much that you can do when you have these new roles. So a lot of times we see that people put these unrealistic goals and these unrealistic attempts on themselves, and all they're doing is hurting themselves. So through our metabolic master plan, we're going to develop, and you're going to learn what we actually can do. And here's the best part, what I love: truly the lifelong lifestyle, the lifelong change. My goal is for you not to be dependent upon me. My goal is, in this 8 weeks, we hit it fast, we hit it hard, we're very concentrated, we see each other, we make sure that we're checking in, we're learning everything that you need to learn. We're learning together. I'm learning about you, you're learning about your body, because you are the expert in your body, and now you can now put it into practice so that you'll have this lifetime change, because nothing beats education. This is empowerment that you have for forever. So while I love that we're going to have these 8 weeks together, I also know I have a very clear goal for you to learn about what's going on in your body and what steps to take to make sure that you become a metabolic master. And that's part of our metabolic master plan. So of course, because of this webinar that we're having these bonuses as well too, that are available to you just in these next 24 hours when you sign up today for the metabolic master plan. And here's the first one: lab test and analysis. In the lab test and analysis, we have to know what is draining your energy. We have to find out about insulin resistance, because this goes back, and this is like the fundamental portion of when we speak about your metabolic health. So the metabolic health is related to your insulin resistance, the draining of your energy. So we do lab tests so that we could know not just what's going on the outside. We have to know what's going on the inside. So one of our bonuses, our first bonus, is the lab test and analysis with our phlebotomist that comes to you, because we know you are a busy, high-achieving professional. Our second bonus is our doctor's bag. That's right, things exactly from my doctor's bag. We're going to learn that food is fuel. So we're going to have for you a food is fuel catalog so that you'll be able to go through. And we're also going to have, you will receive food as medicine guide, the different foods that you could utilize. And here's the biggest thing that is so important with our food. Everything that we put in our mouth is doing one of two things. It's either feeding our well-being and our health, or it is feeding disease and your destruction. But many times you have no idea what that is or which ones you should have. And I'm telling you, it's a lot more than just the potato chips. One of our patients that we had we realized that a food that was usually great for everyone else, whole wheat bread, was not good for him. How do we know that? Because of the lab tests that we did that was able to reveal to us some of these things that are going on that makes the difference for you individually. And then, of course, our third bonus is an exclusive personalized physician attention. Again, why we only take 10 people only, because my goal is to be highly attentive to your needs. This is a one-on-one plan of care. Now, while on Monday, we're going to start our whole new cohort for this month, our group that's coming in of our 10, and we're going to do the onboarding. We're going to get them going. We're going to get them everything that we needed, but that's just it. After that, it's one-on-one, week by week care together so that we could grow together and so that you could now unlock your metabolism and now maximize your gut health. Not just so that you could achieve energy, but so that you could achieve that weight loss that you've been looking for. Here's our bonus number 4, lifetime access to sequence and pattern eating video series. This is a video series that I personally did. It's 7 different topics where it's going to actually go into all the different ways that we should eat. Did you even know that that's a thing? That been depending on what you eat first, or the pattern in which you eat, how many times a day that you eat, not only could that be self-sabotaging, but that could be something that, again, is throwing off and making your metabolic health the worst. So with this lifetime access of this video series, you'll be able to have this all a part of our metabolic master plan. So here's the thing. When you join today, you'll get have this transformation. You're going to have enhanced health. You're going to redeem your time. We're going to intensify your energy, vitality, and clarity. You're going to have more earning potential because you're going to have less sick days. We're going to boost your confidence. You're going to have control and calm because now you actually know what's going on in your health. You're not going to have to do the guesswork by yourself anymore. You're going to have improved relationships. One, and most importantly, first with yourself and then with others. And then, of course, our bonuses, our lab test analysis for insulin sensitivity, our expert physician one-on-one plan of care, and of course, our doctor's bag where you get the food as fuel catalog and the food as medicine guide. When you invest in yourself, this is your most important asset. All of these and total investment and our service is valued at $3,127. That is the total investment of the service for all of these services that you'll get part of our 8-week Metabolic Master Plan Intensive. But of course, because of this webinar, we have a 1-day, this time tomorrow, 9 p.m., promotional that is going on. And when you decide to join us today, you will be able to invest in your health, not at the $3,127, but for $997. That is what you can do today, and it is available to you. Now, this is another testimonial I want to talk to you about. This is Bill's story. And this is a really great one for me that I want to share with you. You see, Bill's wife was actually one of our concierge patients. And it was while he was hospitalized. She called me and said, "That's it. He is coming to you, Dr. Elisee." And this is what happened. Turned out he was hospitalized. Like I said, his wife called and said, "He is coming to you. I can't deal with this." When I actually met Bill in office, when he was at the hospital, he found out that he was diabetic, had high blood pressure, and he had abnormal liver numbers. Do you guys even know your liver numbers? That's important to know because, again, that goes into your metabolic health. He was always dragging, always tired. He was a leader in the community. He was actually a chaplain and a pastor, and he was also a husband as well as a father. But he said he was always dragging, always tired, and this was key, daily headaches. So against his will, and for some of you, I think this is interesting, it will take your spouse or a loved one to take care of you before you take care of yourself. And I see that all the time, where we tend to take care of everyone else more than we take care of ourselves. But thank God, Bill's wife had the wherewithal to say, "That's it. He's coming to you." She made sure he took care of himself, and he became a metabolic master. What happened with Bill? In our time together, Bill had controlled diabetes. He wasn't on insulin. He wasn't even at the point of having to take any medication. His blood pressure went down. His abnormal livers corrected. He had more energy. His headaches went away. And I really want to underscore this idea of what I said. He had controlled diabetes. Don't listen to anyone who's telling you that you're going to reverse diabetes. Once you cross that line, then that's it. You have diabetes, that's yours until you go meet Jesus. Now, one thing that does happen, if you are suffering from prediabetes, it is reversible. But for him, we were able to control all of these numbers. We were able to remove a lot of his blood pressure medications. And he is now what we call a metabolic master. And I want that for you. And I truly believe your friends, your families, your loved ones want that for you as well, too, because they want you around to complete and to enjoy life together with them. That is Bill's story. Here's the one thing that I always have to think about too. It's so great that Bill's wife, that Annabelle, and that Rudy was able to invest in themselves. But here's the thing of what it will cost you if you do not invest in yourself. Degrading health, declining health. Remember the law of thermodynamics? Things don't get better, they get worse. So now that you have this degrading health and declining health, you are missing days of work. You are decreasing your earning potential and decreasing your wealth. Also because you're probably having to have a lot more emergency room visits that all could have been preventable, all by clicking this button to be able to join this Metabolic Masters. And then, of course, broken relationships. Why is that broken relationships? Again, starting with self. When an individual is at this point where their health is degrading, they become frustrated with themselves. They're no longer kind to themselves. So that first broken relationship is with themselves first, and then with the people around them who are honestly sometimes just mad that you would do that to yourself and not make the investment in yourself to take care of your health. And they're the ones, your friends, your family, your loved ones, who are suffering because they don't have all of you, the real you, present with them. That's what it costs you when you don't join the Metabolic Master Plan and when you don't join us. So once again, Metabolic Master Plan, it's here for you. We are taking 7 spots. We have 7 spots left. We have this one-day promotional that you know you want to be a part of as well too. And then of course today you have that savings and you invest today of $9.97. We had some questions that were coming up. I want to go ahead and open up the floor for some Q&A. I had some questions here that I saw. One of the questions that I saw here, it says this, it says, what is, this is, okay, someone said such great information. Yay, thank you. I'm glad that you are getting this information. I hope that you're sharing it. Someone said as well too, do I have to come to Coral Springs every week? No, we can set it up so that once you join the plan, we could set it up where we could actually meet virtually. I could teach it to you again. Our goal is that we wrap around you and your health so that we can hit there. Someone else asked about the video series. Is this video series part of the Metabolic Master Plan? Yes, that video series is part of the Metabolic Master Plan. When you make that investment to be part of the Metabolic Master Plan group, then that investment of $9.97 will include, of course, the video series as well. Someone said, wow, that's an amazing price. It is. That is an amazing price. And I do think so too. But I'll tell you in all honesty, part of the reason why I want to say that we set it up so that we can have a webinar and give this at a discount rate like this is because, let's make no mistake, we see what is going on in healthcare. We see what is going on if you are leaving to the government, if you're leaving to your insurance companies to take care of you. It's just not going to happen. So once I'm able to give you this information in this 8 weeks, you learn what you need to learn to get in the next group of people. This is my hidden mission to really make sure that you're getting good, solid, great information to be able to do this. Someone else said for the one-on-one plan, Is it outlined for the 8 week or something we can use long term? Yes. So the one-on-one plan, every single week, I am going to be teaching you something different and specific for you for the long term. That first week that we're together, we build the plan together. And then I actually notice or begin to find what are the things specific to you that have been a problem, and we start attacking them. And each week with me present, we're going to be able, and with you having a physician that's there, we're going to be able to know, is this working? Is it not working? How is it working? Someone said, are the medications used in this program? Yeah, for some people, medications are used. And I'll tell you, probably for the majority, but we still have individuals that are not. Remember, I want you to remember this more than anything else. Medicine is not one size fits all. And because it's not one size fits all, we have to make sure that we are tailoring and we are curating a plan just for you. And that's what we get to do in that one-on-one. So that's why we're able to go ahead and do that together. So this is going to be amazing. Is this covered by insurance? Someone else asked. What great questions. So this is one thing I know. While this is not covered by insurance, you can do your reimbursement. You can do your FSHA. Insurance itself, we at the office, we are not in contract with that because we don't work for the insurance. We work for you. That's our biggest thing. A lot of times with insurance, I'm just telling you this in full transparency so that you can understand. A lot of times with insurance, they are going to a lot of times negate and overstep their boundaries in trying to make medical decisions for you that should really be in the hands of you and your physician. So this is the reason why it's not covered by insurance, but what you can again do, like we've had so many people do, that FSH account that they have, they utilize that. Some people get that reimbursement from their insurance companies. That's something that is specific to you. But more than anything else, what do you want to make sure that you're doing? Investing in your health. Sign up for our Metabolic Master Plan. So just like Bill, you'll be able to be a metabolic master. I'm so glad that we had a chance to chat today. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for joining us. Please let us know how we're doing. We're going to make sure any information that you have, the same messaging system that you're able to receive us, reach out to us. And more than anything else, always remember your health matters most. I can't wait to see you and start with you so that we together can make you a metabolic master.